Gamers, I'm back with another video. We're mid-tournament right now. I have a little bit of a break, so I decided to make a video about this. I saw this post yesterday, and I thought it's an interesting discussion. I wanted to give you guys my perspective on that. The question is, has Microsoft reduced their investment into AoE4 esports? So you can see the guy said, price pool the first third of 2022, 170k. N4C was like 100k of that, so it's 70k. Price pool first third of 2023, 72k, so it matches 2022. And then price pool of first third of 2024 is 27,000. I wanted to give my opinion on this and what I know about the tournaments coming up, obviously without leaking anything. Number one thing is we're having an S tier tournament right now. The price pool is 25,000. I can't remember what was in 2023, the first third of 2023, but basically the Red Bull mentioning is recently Red Bull kind of confirmed that they are having Red Bull, and they just showed a bunch of clips of AoE 2 with no AoE 4. It was like a short video. Apparently a lot of AoE 2 players knew about Red Bull, that it was happening. Casters from AoE 2 were contacted, and then from AoE 4 nobody knows shit. Nobody got called. I don't know anything about it. Marine Lord doesn't know anything about it. Other top players, casters from AoE 4 haven't been contacted, so people are kind of assuming that there is no AoE 4. I don't know why Red Bull is just now releasing more information, or at least confirming which games are going to be there. They haven't said when is the announcement, if there is one. They haven't said anything, so now we're just all waiting and kind of speculating. Regarding the tournaments that are coming up, there are at least 4 or 5 tournaments up until June that are coming up. Not all of them have like, $30,000 prize pool, but they're not like, I'm not saying like $100 tournaments. They're like in between their prize pools, right? So I know that the stuff is happening. There will be more tournaments. There will be more prize money. There will be different kinds of tournaments, which is great. Regarding Red Bull, I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea behind the scenes what Microsoft is doing, if they're investing any money to tournaments, if they're planning to invest any money into tournaments. I have no clue, and this is something that I've tried asking, can we just get information whether the Microsoft is investing money into AoE4 or not, because of the next reason. So I'm full-time at AoE4, obviously stream, I have a YouTube channel, and I have tournament prize money. So for me, I'm chilling. Even if they cut down prize pool by half this year, for me, it doesn't matter. But other AoE 4 players that are competing full-time or semi-full-time, it's very important for them to know, like, hey, is this worth me investing my time into it, right? Like, if we're going to have, let's say, 3 tournaments a year and the prize money is like 1,000 for first place and then like 500 second and then whatever else, obviously that's not worth for people to compete. I'm just giving an example. So it would be really nice to know, hey, this year we're having this many tournaments, this is the prize money, so that people can decide what they want to do. From at least Microsoft. I'm not saying every tournament organizer should give us, full year ahead. For example, in StarCraft 2, I remember ESL would be in December, they would announce whole next year. So they would say, we're having 5 tournaments next year, I am this, DreamHack that, whatever, right? And then players know what's happening. And I think that's very important, and I think it would be really good if this happened in AoE 4 as well, from Microsoft, to just tell us something. Again, they don't have to give us details, but they should tell us, great news, guys. This year we're having $300,000 prize pools to give to community. Something. I don't know. So there's a lot of mention of DLC. There's a lot of mention from Microsoft about DLC. So for you guys that don't know, the Sultan's Ascent was the best-selling expansion in the history of franchise. So not in AoE 4, but in any AoE. It has been the best-selling expansion, and Microsoft has been kind of pushing this. Like, it's the best-selling, and they make it very known. Kind of like, yo, this is good stuff, we're going to do more with it, but then we have no info. Yeah, and this is kind of what I said. As someone who enjoys really high level, this is rather concerning, since a lot of top players may quit the game if they can't make a living. Right. We need to know more about prize pools, and if Microsoft wants for AoE for to continue in the direction that it's been going. It has more than double the player base than last year. They need to put money into tournaments. I think that it's possible that they don't support tournaments anymore, but they still release expansions, because esports isn't everything, but esports does attract and keep the audience to some extent, right? A lot of people enjoy single player, don't give a crap about esports, but a lot of people do give a crap about esports, and if all the top players and streamers stop playing, then the player base will naturally go down. And a lot of players, when they want to buy a new game or check out a new game, they always check Twitch, right? They check YouTube videos, and if there's nothing regarding that, then they're just gonna go to another game. So I don't think esports is the most important thing, but I think it does contribute to the game, and I don't think spending $100,000-$200,000 for Microsoft is a lot of money. Yeah, so that's kind of the intro. Matisse responds. Matisse, who has recently organized the Slapfest tournament with Energy, and I think the prize pool was like $2,500 if I remember correctly. And he just says, we have to take the matter in our hands to create grassroots independent esports scene. So the safest thing is to do this. This has been done in StarCraft, when Blizzard kind of gave up on giving prize pool, and then ESL picked up on the prize pool part. This has been done in StarCraft, and StarCraft has literally tournaments every single weekend, I feel like, from the community that have, 2,000 prize pool, 5,000, 10,000, and it's been going on for a long, long, long time. So this guy says no one has ever succeeded at that. Again, that's not true. It has succeeded in StarCraft 2. If you guys don't know, Wardy is doing tournaments every week. Before that, it was Beastyqt TV. Total Biscuit as well, who used to organize tournaments. So there were plenty of tournament organizers in AoE 4, in StarCraft 2, that are still doing it to this day. And there's also a lot of stuff in Warcraft 3. You guys think that the tournaments in Warcraft 3 are sponsored by Blizzard? Check W. This does work. So I do agree with Matisse. People should, I think that EGC TV has a Kickstarter crowdfunding for more tournaments, not for a tournament, but for bonus tournaments. And I think one of the best ways that you can maintain tournaments and maintain prize pools for the players and esports is to just have, people organizing tournaments themselves, trying to individually find either sponsors or trying to do crowdfunding for the tournaments or something, like content creators organizing tournaments. I think that's a great way to do it. The question is, if doing something like that and having a tournament here and there for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, is that enough for pro players to go full time? Probably not, because as of right now, there's like a weird mix of, you want the prize money to be split fairly, from first place to 32nd place or 16th place, but at the same time, if you dilute your prize money too much, then the top prize money is not enough for players to become full-time or to be full-time. Does that make sense? So while I do think that, top 16, let's say, should get prize money, if you dilute that too much to where it's like rank 16 gets $500 and first place gets $2K, it's not really worth for players to go full-time. You know what I mean? So in a way, you do need to keep prize money at the top heavy, but you also want to give prize money to the people in top 16, so it's a hard thing to fulfill. Obviously, if you have $1 million, it's easy to do that, but when you're working with $20,000-$30,000, that's a lot harder to do. So yeah, I think this is a great idea, and I hope that more people get into that. There's an EGC TV comment. I'm assuming this is Beasty. I'm a little late to the party. I don't share this assessment of the future for the AoE4 esports scene. Obviously, no doubt the post is made in good faith, but taking this raw data the first third of each year doesn't represent where we're at. I agree with that, right? Because who knows, there might be like I'm not saying it will, but there might be a $500,000 tournament in May, right? So taking the info first third of 2024, once the whole year is done, if the prize pool is down, then yeah, that's a problem. But we don't know what's happening for the rest of the year, including me. For a start, the reduction between Golden League 1 and 2 was partially because we wanted a more varied calendar. We didn't do a major event for 6 months after Golden League 1, but Elite Classic 1, 30K followed Golden League 2 was only 6 weeks. Of course, it's no secret that over the last 3 years, the entire esports ecosystem has consolidated. Market conditions are challenging right now, both in terms of esports and more generally. Looking towards the future, it's not for me to get into Microsoft and what they will do or won't do, partially because I don't necessarily know, but I can say that Microsoft has always been excellent supporters of AOE4 esports, and they definitely do care about it. I think it's often not well recognized, and many people look at the situation in a vacuum and without enough appreciation or context, so I don't recognize the characterization. Some comments that they don't care. What I can tell you is that EGC continues to have significant plans for AOE4, and we're excited for a great year of AOE4 esports. We're already working on our plans through the end of this year, and we'll do our bit to make sure this pro esports scene continues to thrive. Okay, so that's all great. So you can see Beastyqt is basically saying there will be more tournaments, and from what I know, the tournaments that have been happening, Microsoft did support them, but I don't know what amounts they're supported in. You know what I mean? While I do agree with all of this, I go back to the same point, right? I believe that Beastyqt TV will keep organizing tournaments. I don't have a doubt with that. I mean, he's saying it right here, and Beastyqt has been supporting the scene so much, and without him, probably be dead as fuck. But my question is, once again, is that money enough for players to maintain full time? And that, I don't know. For me, it is. Again, because I have YouTube and I have Twitch. And I've already talked to some players regarding this Red Bull thing, where it's like, we don't know if it's happening or not, because everyone is assuming if Red Bull is happening for AOE4, the prize pool will be $100, $200, $300,000, right? So even getting top 8 is going to be like $10,000, which is, a lot of money. And the players that I've talked to, they're basically saying, if there's no Red Bull and the tournaments remain the way they are right now, they don't know if it's worth it for them to continue playing, because some of them are full-time, right? So they need to make a living. So I don't think that the tournaments will stop, right? I don't think the tournaments will disappear. I don't think we're not going to have a pro scene. The question is, how much will people commit to full-time pro gaming? Does it matter for you? Okay, so this is the comment that I saw. Does it matter for you when the same people are winning that money anyway? This is true for every RTS esports. I don't know if you guys know this. Serral is winning most of the stuff in StarCraft. Hera and Viper are winning most of the stuff in AoE 2. In Brood War foreign scene, same players are winning all the tournaments. In AoE 4, Marine Lord and I are winning all the tournaments. So that's not AoE 4 specific. Corbin says I'm going to get roasted. You're not going to get roasted. I can disagree with stuff, So, to me, this comment is it's a bit weird, because it's like, should we not support the tournaments because 2 players are winning? What if 3 players were winning? Is that fine then? No? What if 4 players? Like, what amount of players needs to switch winning the tournaments for it to be okay? Right? So I found that argument a bit weird. As someone who enjoys watching AOE4 top tournaments, if only Beastyqt Marine Lord can make a decent income by competing in AOE4, yes, I am worried. The other pros will switch to other games and will have huge impact on the quality of the content, which is what I was talking about, right? For me, it's good. I don't mind it. Like, if the prize pool gets even lower, I still got all the deadly trio, right? Twitch, YouTube tournaments. But I'm more worried for the other players. It's already happening. I know many others who will leave or left already. Just check the ATR leaderboard. We're losing even more and more, like Tips, for example. The problem with this is, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, yes, the 2 players are winning most of the stuff, and that's bad when you look at it overall for the health of the scene. But that's the point of the tournaments, right? The best players should win. Now, this creates a problem of the other players are not winning as much money, so they don't want to commit full time. But what's the solution here, right? I mean, the simple solution is give the prize money to 1 million, right? And then everyone's going to have money. But that's not the case. And if you want to make money in a game to compete, you have to be the best. If you're not the best, I mean, it is what it is, right? There's no solution there. It's like if I went into AoE 2 and, let's say I'm not good and I'm ranked 32, and I complain that I can't make a living because I'm ranked 32 and I'm not winning the tournaments. It's like, well, yeah, that's a competitive scene. If you're not winning, you're not making as much money, right? So to me, this is like, in a way, kind of like, yeah, obviously, right? You have to win to make money. Yeah, it's the same everywhere. It's the same in tennis. It's the same in whatever esports you want to look at. And then that's where the whole personal responsibility, in my opinion, comes in, right? I understand if someone is not making money from competing, then you should be looking, perhaps, if you cannot sustain full time, then you should be looking into maybe going full time in another game, or you should look into creating maybe more content if the money from tournaments is not sustainable for you. Or maybe you should focus more on streaming and improving your stream, being a better streamer, being a better YouTuber, right? That's why I do all three, because I'm not dependent of either of those, right? So that's kind of my opinion on it. I do think there's a bit of a copium in terms of, because again, I've talked to these players, I've talked to like 5 or 6 guys about like, oh, they might quit and switch to another game. I do think there's a bit of a copium where it's like, oh, I'm going to switch to another game and compete there. I'm going to be honest, most of the people are not going to compete and dominate that game, right? With all due respect, if AoE 4 players go to Stormgate and think they're going to be farming and winning all the tournaments, the chances you're not. You know, you might do well, but winning all the tournaments? Probably not, right? Statistically, you're probably not going to do that. And if you go there to do like YouTube content or stream, you can also do that in AoE4 and improve your stream in whichever way. Because I feel like a lot of people that stream in AoE4, they just play games. And obviously I do that too, but I have a lot of content that is focused towards something, right? People follow like the series that I do, or the, you know, when's the next this one, when's the next that one, right? And I feel like most of the people in AoE4 that stream, they just stream the games. And that's it. So that's kind of my opinion on it. And by the way, again, if you guys don't know, I think I saw something that Hera... Oh yeah, Hera won the last 5 tournaments in AoE4, in AoE2. Now, why is that not an issue? Because there's more... I think there's more tournaments in AoE4 last year, so it's not as big of an issue. So, but they also have YouTube streams and all that. Having a thriving esports to go along with your favorite game is awesome. That being said, I like playing this game and watching streams a lot too. This, I think, even without an esports scene, as long as the ranked player base continues to thrive, I will keep playing. That's the thing. Streaming and ranked ladder in esports competitive games go along with one another. I'll give you my point of view. Let's say tomorrow the tournaments end completely. It's just an announcement. There's no more tournaments at all. The quality of the ladder will drop extremely, right? Extremely. And also my content is probably not going to be one-on-ones anymore. It's going to be probably like trolling, goofing around, playing FFAs and stuff like that. So while I do agree that esports not necessarily eliminate the streams will not be very one-on-one focused. But what rank the quality will drop? I'm talking about like top play, right? Because you don't have, there's no incentive for you to grind and get higher rank and practice and all that, right? People will still play ladder, but not as serious. AoE4 has more ranked players than AoE2, so even if AoE4 has no esports and AoE2 continues with a healthy esports scene, that alone is enough for me to change. That alone is not enough for me to change games. Also, we have a good year ahead of us thanks to AGC, everyone who should pledge to the Kickstarter. So, this is the thing. I agree with what he's saying, but I don't agree that the streams are going to remain the same. The amount of streamers and the amount of people playing will definitely go down at the top level if there's no more tournaments. Yeah, so I saw this as well. I'm guessing this was already decided on financial projections, allocations over a year ago, so it's going to take some time to see results from the best-selling DLC. Yeah. One thing I know about Microsoft is they're like the slowest company I have seen in my life as far as gaming companies go. What that means is what this person is saying. So, for example, let's say the Microsoft has said we're gonna put $50,000 this year, AA4, just 50, and then the DLC happened. They sold a bunch immediately, right in the first month. So you would think that after the month they're gonna be like, "Yo, this is the most selling expansion. Let's fucking boost that from 50K to 300K." You would think a normal company would do that, and it's quick in and out, you know, they got it sorted, boom, boom, tournaments. For some reason, in Microsoft terms, this is gonna take a year probably. Legit. Why? I have no idea. But everything that I've seen, all the decisions they're making are extremely delayed and slow. I would say that if there is an increase to prize money or investment into AA4, you will only see it probably August, September, October onwards. Not earlier. Not because they're waiting, not because they're like trying to see if it's gonna be better or whatever. It's just the amount of time for them to get started with anything. Yeah, it's too much company. Yeah, exactly. There's too much like back and forth, and we're not gonna be seeing any effect of the DLC best-selling thing for at least another 6 months from now, which is now is March. So, you know, the answer to, are they going to invest more money because DLC did well, or are they going to make better DLCs for the future because the game or DLC did so well? We don't know until probably close to a year after DLC launched. So I can tell you that realistically. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft expected DLC to be that successful, but it did, and I do think they're going to have another DLC. I agree with these support grassroots with competition in this period of corporate investment. I hope things like Rising Empires, Warship Club, and Energy Slapfest can fill in some of the gaps, which will only happen if the community steps up. It seems there's some glimmers of increased support outside of HCTV with larger TWC and Slapfest, but that stuff must be supported by viewership to continue. Esports everywhere is taking a hit in the United States. The easy money of 0% interest rates right up at the beginning of this turn. Marketing budgets have been deeply slashed, and that's where esports civilization comes from, companies like Microsoft. So this is something that I wanted to talk about. The esports bubble, you know, for a few years in, was it 2014 and 15, people were thinking that esports will make it mainstream, like truly make it mainstream. Like you're gonna be like watching football, and then someone's gonna be like, "Yo, turn on League of Legends," kind of thing. And it was looking good for a while. I think that idea of esports being mainstream, I don't think it's happening. There would need to be, the only way I can see this happening is if a sport and game is implemented in one, where you need some like physical activity, but you can play from home or something. I don't know. But I don't think it's happening. Yeah, the bubble popped. But that's not necessarily bad news. I think a lot of people invested insane amounts of money too fast around those years, and then people think like we went from like this to we just plummeted. It's because people over invested thinking, yo, if this makes it mainstream, I'm gonna make so much money, and it did not. And now the investments are dropping, right? And they will stabilize if they already have not stabilized, right? It's just that people's expectations of where esports will go is kind of getting more realistic. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think, you know, gaming staying on Twitch or on YouTube is not the end of the world, right? Because there was this push for a while, and I know this behind the scenes, that like very big shot people, I'm talking like back in the day, MLG and IEM and all those, thought that or wanted for the games to be pushed on TV. Like badly. Like there was a lot of deals, there was a lot of contracts being made and all that, and it just didn't happen in the end. It happened on to some extent on some like TV programs and stations and all that, but in the end it didn't work out. Merlin says there's some Twitter drama about Epic, Fortnite, and Rocket League. World champion hasn't been paid a year pretty much, and the game is doing insanely well. I mean, I haven't heard very good things about Epic in general, so I'm not shocked. I'll just say that. One of the things that I think AoE4 and Microsoft should do, they should really implement, and I know if I say this now and they're like, yo, we agree that's going to be in the game in like 3 years, they should really implement in-game streams. I think Dota and CSGO do this, right? Or am I thinking of one of them? When a tournament is happening, you can see the stream in-game. You click it, it pops into your browser, and you can watch the stream. I think the problem with Age series, Age of Empires 4 specifically, in AoE 2, I think the reason why the tournaments have much bigger viewership is because the scene has been going on for 47 years, right? So people know that there's tournaments. People are aware of it. A lot of people do only single player, but a lot of people they're used to watching AoE 2 tournaments, and they're watching them for 10-15 years now. So it's just, yeah, of course they know there's a tournament. AoE 4 came out a little bit over 2 years ago, and we still have new players coming every day, right? There's a lot more new players coming into AoE 4 than AoE 2 or 3. And the problem is, a lot of those players don't know about the tournaments. They're not aware that there are tournaments. They're maybe just casual. Maybe they would want to watch, but have no clue. I get comments on my whatever, Twitch or social media where someone's like, yo, I've been playing for AoE 4 since the release, and I just found your stream, right? And I don't mean this in like a bragging way, but if I'm the biggest streamer and I win tournaments and I have a YouTube channel, and it took this guy to find me after 2 years through, I think he mentioned he watched me on Ozzy Drongo's channel playing FFA, right? That's kind of crazy to me, right? Like this person was not aware that there's tournaments, and he has been playing the game for 2 years. The amount of people that are like that is insanely high. Insanely high. You might think it's like 10% of the people. I would argue like 80% of the people in AoE4 have no clue what Twitch, YouTube, or not what Twitch, YouTube is, but they have no clue about any of that. No clue. And they're playing multiplayer games. They just don't know. Even if they're playing one-on-one. And there are obviously players that just play like AIs and stuff like that. And they might tune into tournaments. But they don't, because they don't fucking know they exist. Think about it. Like, how the fuck would they know it exists? If you log into game every day and you go play against, you log in and you go like single player skirmish AI and you play your games and you go flying, how the fuck are you going to know that there's tournaments in the game? You're not going to have any clue. No one's telling you. And I think AoE 4 does that pretty bad, where there's just no... If there was just like, when you entered a game, there was like here, right here. Like this, new age, new live stream, which ended up being KW. If there was a embed right here, is that what it's called? Of EGC TV tournament right now, and it says, tune in to $25,000 tournament where top pro players are playing the game. You don't think, like, be honest, right? Let's make it very low. Do you not think at least 1,000 to 2,000 extra viewers would tune into the stream? 1,000 to 2,000 extra, just from that. People don't know about these things. People don't know. I met people from Serbia, by the way, that play AoE 4, they don't know about me. And they're like, oh yeah, I watched some streams and stuff. And I'm saying that they don't know about me because I'm also Serb. There's not many people from Serbia playing. And this guy also watched some Twitch and he doesn't know there's tournaments happening. So this is not the case of like a boomer doesn't know how to use the internet. They just don't think about it. So I think those are some of the things that could be done to help the esports scene. And by having more viewers, then you can have bigger prize pools. You can have sponsors coming in with more money because you have more viewership. All those things are intertwined together. It's not like just money equals success. It's, money equals more pro players competing, more pro players streaming, pro players creating content, people watching those things, people getting, inspired to go try that build or try a thing, play more, watch more streams, more viewers, more players are coming in. All those things are, coming together. So I don't think that just putting $1 million into AoE4 would fix everything. A lot of things need to come together for AoE4 to continue growing. So this is, by the way, this is not a doomer video. I don't think AoE4 is doing badly. Like I said, it has more than double the players every day than last year. So the DLC did great. But in order for AoE4 to grow and get to the next level, all these things need to be, you know, put into place, worked on, and the game can continue growing and continue doing well. And I've said this, you know, long time ago, that we need more consistent tournaments. We cannot rely just on EGC to have tournaments. I remember that period that Pesty wrote, there was a 6-month period between the tournaments. There was nothing happening. And for my stream, it's fine. But people have this feeling like, oh, nothing is happening in the game, it's dead. Right? There's no tournaments, it's dead. And whether you agree with it or not, the fact is, if a game doesn't have a lot of Twitch viewers or a lot of players in game, people are less likely to play it, right? Yeah, Energy's tournament was great. And if we had more tournaments like that, right? And if you look at AoE 2, like StarCraft, they constantly have tournaments. Constantly something's happening. And people are more likely to tune in. You know, not everyone follows Wikipedia and refreshes when is the next tournament. People need to get into habits to tune into those things and watch those things. So what I think is important is for more content creators, YouTubers, you know, people like Matisse working with Energy to host tournaments. I know Wham is going to host tournaments. Someone recently reached out to me wanting to sponsor a tournament with over $1,000. And I said, I'm willing to play in it. I'm willing to cast a bit with Marika. But I don't have the time to organize it. But she is very much willing. She's very interested. So we're working on that. There's a lot of things like that happening. But we can't, like EGC and now Whammon or whoever, like Energy or Matisse cannot be the only ones. We need a lot more. A year is very long. You know what I mean? Imagine if we had 15 people organizing $1,000 tournament a year plus EGC. The tournaments would be happening fucking every week, every 2 weeks. Because there would be $100 tournament, there would be $1,000 tournament every 2-3 weeks. There would be this, there would be big tournament, that tournament, and the content would just keep going. Stuff would be, you know, constantly moving. This week I'm preparing for this. Everyone's streaming one-on-one. Next week there's or 2 weeks from now there's a team tournament. Everyone's playing team games. Then there's an FFA tournament. Everyone's playing that. So, yeah, all those things combined. So we'll see. Regarding the topic, have they reduced the investments? To answer the question, they might have, but because of the success of DLC, they might be increasing it. But if they do increase it, it will be probably August, September onwards where we will actually see the impact of that, sadly. So yeah, that is it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll ask you for a favor. Make sure to tune in into all AoE4 streams, tournaments, my stream. Just tune into an AoE4 tournament. EGC TV is hosting EGC Classic right now. It's happening every weekend from 4 PM CET. You see top players playing. You will see me play every single day because I'm usually on the main stream at least one game. So that's it. If you want to support AoE4, do that. And check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.